Okay, everybody, I'm down here at Hollands Landing again, spot 75. Dead calm, like a piece of glass today. I'm just going to have a bit of a fish, see if I can get some bream or flatheads. Hopefully we can. Just have to wait and see how it goes, I guess. But yeah, I'll get set up and get a couple of rods out and be all good. Make it a bit easier for you to see the rods. I'll be just sitting here, being a nuisance as usual. Beautiful day. I thought there'd be a bit more wind about today, but no. But it's certainly nice. Bit cool. It's only about 15 degrees Celsius at the moment. So it is rather cool, but that's all right. I mean, I'll only be here a couple of hours. We'll see how we go. Come on, what are you doing, you silly bugger? Concentrate. Oh. So on this rod I've put some new of the Darwin J8 braid on it. Give it a go, see how it works out. It's the J Grand. Fairly heavy line actually, but that's alright. This rod's actually a snapper rod, so I put a heavier line on in case I want to do the heavier stuff. Good on me. Anyway, I'll get a line out. You blokes can start calling fishy fishy for me. I've got some prawns left over here I want to try and get rid of. So I'll use them up there today and then take it from there. Biggest problem is going to be, because it's been so cold, it's the bait isn't really thought out, so I'll have to keep an eye on that. So that rod I just cast out, I'm using a number 4, a small 4 circle hook on it. And on this one I'm going to put a number 3 bait keeper hook. We'll see how they work out. This is my new Dara rod, the Tiara. It's a 1 to 2 kilogram rod. Yeah, interesting to see how this goes today. Anyway, once again, put a bit of bait on it. Can't believe how still it is here after all the wind we've had. Unbelievable. All right. Get this one out. See what eventuates. Oh, good cast. I'm happy with that. Oh yeah. Come on, fishies. Getting impatient, I think. Come on, stop being silly. I guess you guys would have seen this area before, but I'll just pan this around and you can get an idea of how calm it is out here today. Such a beautiful spot down here. Just over on the left over here, there is an absolutely beautiful bit of lawn, and it's a backyard of someone's house that actually has its own little beach over there where those dead trees are. I'd love to have that house. Just sit there and fish there whenever you want to. It'd be absolutely magnificent. But the sky's a little bit cloudy, but there's nothing major up there happening, as you can see. Even over this way, the water is just dead calm. Put you back to those two. We'll see what happens. A little bit later on, I'll pull one of these rods in, and I've got some of the new Dawa 38 lures. I'll give them a try. But like I said, I'll need to pull one of these rods in, so but we'll get that done. Should have used the net, but guys, have a look at this. Have a look at that. Oh, snap me off. You bastard. Have a look at that one, fellas. That is a stonker. I'll get my mat out. He's gonna be a big one. It did snap my line at the last minute when I had him on the ground here. It just cut me bloody hand. Should have had these gloves on earlier, but anyway, there you go. He went 38. So there you go, guys. 38 centimetre bream. First cast on that rod. I'm pretty happy with that. He can go back out there though. Come on, little man. Off you go. Turn over. That's it. Head out, head out, head out. Beautiful. Off you go. Well, that sort of made my day a little bit. How the hell did that happen? Now I've got to set this hook up. Scissors out. That was a heavy fish. It wasn't as big as I thought it was, but it was big. But I had 8-pound leader, and when I was trying to pick him up to unhook him, he snapped the 8-pound leader, so he's pretty heavy. I probably should have used my net to bring him in. But oh well, these things happen. I know this time of year we start getting all the bigger fish, the colder water. We seem to get the bigger fish coming in, whether they're coming in to breed or whatever, I don't know, but they certainly come in. But it was a stonker, that one. I think that might be my PB. Yeah, I think it is. I think my biggest prior to that on Bream was 36. But yeah, nice catch. You don't always get the same size like that, so. Although this particular spot here has always seemed to produce some pretty big fish for me. All right, get another bait out. Finish setting off my other line that I had there. Funny how those really big bream, they hit hard, but then they just lay doggo. The little ones, they chase you all over the place, but they're pretty strange. Anyway, I must have done something right. It's back out there. Okay. I'm trying out some new clips that I saw advertised on YouTube. They're not swivels, they're just direct couple clips. Unusual looking clip. but it's supposed to be made it easy to hook up lures and so forth. So I'm going to put one of them on here. They look very much like a paper clip. You can see that. That's basically what they are. They've got little clips on the corner that you put your swivel or lure or whatever you want to put through it. But they seem to work all right. I put them on both these lines to try them out and see how they go, and they seem to be going all right. So we'll see what happens when I put them directly on the little lures. So this rod is running a 10-pound J-braid expedition, which is the upper level line from Jawa, and it's covered with a polymer, so it makes it quite smooth, and it doesn't attract water. The water rolls off the line, so it tends to float a bit more, whereas the blue Grand doesn't have that polymer, and it tends to soak up the water a bit more. So yeah, anyway, all you can do is try it and see what you think, and if it's what you like, you like. If you don't, no damage done. And what I might do is hook on this little one here. This is the new Dawa mussel. It's 38 centimetres long, and they're 3.4 grams weight. Nice light little lure. There's a bit of a mussel bed out here, so my thoughts are to use that out here in the mussel bed and see if it brings anything up. Being as there's a mussel bed here, I was thinking that'd be something the Bream would be looking for. There we go. Clipped on. Oh, shit. Lots of funny noises in the water today. Don't know if it's ducks or what. Yeah, so there, on the line with the clip, we'll just see how it works out. It may be a total flop, or may not, you don't know. They're supposed to give a vibe when they're in the water, so I'll just leave that set up there and wait until I get another fish, and then if I get another fish, and pull the line in and see what happens. That looks like I'm going to have to make up another leader on that. It's all right. Sorry about my head bobbing in the way all the time, guys. No, you don't want to see my ugly mush. Oh. Yeah, fishy, fishy, fishy. Well, at least I caught a fish, so I don't have to go home and say I caught nothing. That was a nice fish, actually. I wasn't going to come down fishing at all today, but I was just sitting at home twiddling my thumbs, and I could see there was no wind and it was a beautiful day, so I thought, why not go out and see what I can do. Actually, it's not all that cold either. It is a bit cold, like you wouldn't be fishing in a t-shirt, but it's not cold enough to want to put a balaclava or anything on. I think there might be some people come down here do night fishing because they've wrapped reflective tape around the pole of this little stand just here, and just over here, up the branch of the tree there, they put reflective tape on that as well. I guess when they're out in the boat they put a searchlight out and find the tape and know that's where the landing is. So yeah, a bit interesting, mate. Might wind this rod in and check the bait. It's been there for 25 minutes or more. We'll see what happens. It doesn't feel good. Oh yeah, still got my bait. But I'll leave this rod out for a little while and I'll try jigging one of these and see what happens. Don't know how well this will cast. As I say, this is probably a maiden voyage for this little lure and this little rod, I guess. Okay. One more cast. And then I'll go back to my bait. My shoulder is a little bit sore. It's been playing up a bit. I've got a torn tendon in it, so I need to be a little bit careful on casting. I can do that too long today. Have to wait till I get a little bit better in my shoulder, I think. That's alright. At least I give it a try. It feels good. Might need to put that on my other rod that I got at home. It's a more a lure rod. If that makes sense. I like this rod. It's right out there and feels good. Oh, such a beautiful day. I was nearly going to go to Port Albert and check that out today, but it was just a little bit too far to go for the time I had, so yeah, I came here instead. I can't complain. I'm out fishing. What more can you expect? Should have been here with the other two amigos and we could have had a really good session, but oh well, it happens. We have fun. We do silly things, but it's all part of the day. When you're with your mates and you're doing it, it makes it a better day. On your own, it's nice to have the solitude, but it's nice to have someone to talk to while you're fishing too. Picking on each other, taking a piss. Yeah, it's good. I reckon won't be too long. We'll get our overnighter that we've been planning, the three of us. That should be good fun. A few frothies after fishing. Bit of a can of meal maybe, or fish and chips. Couple of ducks out there flying off, heading the distance. I think there's some of Luca's long-necked duck, long-necked chicken out there, a swan. Oh, there's a couple of swans. A few pelicans on the water over to the left. I often wonder why ducks get on this salty water, what they get out of them, unless they're just having a respite and floating. Be too deep for them to dive for food. Strange. Maybe it's a security thing, they're out on the water. It'd be pretty hard for any predators like foxes or cats or whatever, snakes maybe, Benny's mates, to get out there and get them. So maybe it's just their way of resting up. Don't know. I've got an addiction to this Lipton's peach flavoured tea. It's lovely. Nice and cold. Thirst quenching. It's pretty cool. A few waves coming up. I don't know if that's... The wind's not blowing through the trees, so I don't know why that wave's there. There was a boat went through over there earlier, but I thought those waves had come across. There's a fairly big wave. Lucky I didn't see that. I nearly fell flat on my back. Went to sit down on my bucket and it tipped over. That would have given you a laugh. Looks like we're getting that pinkish tinge in the sky again. I think it's going to be another warm day tomorrow. Not much cloud about. When I say warm, for this time of year. 15 or 16, I think. That'd be alright. Bait's still there. Oh well, back out we go. There isn't real lot happening, is there? I thought there'd be a bit more action, but it's still only early. It's only 4:15. Usually happens about 4:30, 5 o'clock. That's when the big fish start to move about. I guess when it's a bit darker. We'll see what happens anyway. Be good if there's a bit more action, but it is what it is. At least I caught something. So quickly too, that was amazing. I was quite pleased with that. I went up to the landing itself before and it was quite still. It was almost the water in the McClellan Strait was almost as flat as it is here. But you could see there was a current running and there was a couple of people fishing there and their lines were running out at 45 degrees to where they were sitting. So it's typical of that part of Hollands Landing. It's always strong current because it's the main channel between the two lakes of Lake Victoria and Lake King and Lake Wellington. And the current really flows, so to fish it efficiently you've got to have a heavy sinker, and when you go to the heavier sinker you need to go to a heavier rod, and then you lose a bit of the finesse of fishing for the bream. So, but then at the same time you can get bigger fish in the channel, so yeah, you've got to decide which way you want to go. We have fished out there before and cast 45 degree to the left and then let it drift till it gets to 45 on the right. Still keeping a tight line all the time, but just letting the sinker roll, churn up a bit of mud as it rolls along, and sometimes that attracts fish. It's not a bad technique. But I think also just off the landing there's a lot of mussel beds and there's a bit of rubbish in the water too. I think I've had more snags there than anywhere else that I can think of. Lost a lot of hooks and sinkers. This is all right though. I've got a few things I've got to do later tonight, so I can't probably stay much later than 5:30. But if I was going to stay later, I would have bought me fire pit, some sausages, have a sizzle up, fish till late in the evening. Can only do so much. I keep hearing this noise. It sounds like waves breaking, like a beach wave crashing onto the foreshore, but we're so far away, I don't know where that would be coming from. It's strange. It's a bit surprising there's no birds out on the water. Like usually if there's anything around, there'll be a mob of birds chasing the bait fish and stuff like that, but there doesn't seem to be any movement anywhere. There's the odd swan here and there just cruising around, and there was a little coot out there just then, just took off across the water, but other than that, there's nothing. No seals, no porpoises or dolphins, no pelicans. It's dead quiet. I can hear the voices in my head talking to themselves. I think my right hand rod, I think I need to put a heavier sinker on it. It's got a fairly light one, and that's a fairly heavy rod. It doesn't cast all that well with the light sinker, so um, I've had that bait on there since I pulled in that fish earlier. I might pull that in and put a heavier sinker and try a different bait on it, just for the fun of it. I've got sandworms and I've got blue bait. I think I've got a few pippies left as well, so just out here past this tree, you may see it. There's a nice swan just busily flipping away along the water. It's a fair way out, but it looks so pretty, just the way the sky is, the reflection in the water. Very relaxing. Very relaxing. And as I said, over this way you can see that pinky hue coming in the sky now. Up near the trees over here, and on that tree line, black line halfway up the screen, that's a row of trees. Runs out to Locksport, and the other side of that's the 90-mile beach. It's a fairly long way from the start of that tree line. It'd probably be 5 or 6 kilometres, but yeah, then you hit the 90-mile beach. So yeah, but it's a beautiful, beautiful night at the moment. It's just unbelievable. I think we're getting almost a full moon tonight too. The sun would be setting behind me, and that's why we're getting that reflection in the water with that pink hue. I don't know if you'll see it. I'll turn this around. Over in the background, almost directly behind those trees, there's a black line in the water which is a tree line, and then behind that, in this grey area, or sort of down along here, that's the Great Divide Range. You can see the mountains, and there's one bit there. It's a fairly long range. It goes for quite a long way, and there's one bit there that's higher than all the rest. It's got a bit of a cloud over it at the moment, but I would reckon if that cloud wasn't there, there'd be snow on that mountain now. It's absolutely just breathtaking at the moment. Geez, I can't believe how smooth it is. Just I've been working on refurbishing my duck punt. It's a flat bottom in America. That they're like a miniature john boat. It's a fairly narrow boat, but it's a bit more stable than being in a canoe. And when you get into areas where there's a lot of trees, because it's a bit narrow, it's only 1.2 metres wide, and so going in between trees and stumps and things, you can get into spots where other boats can't get in. So when you get into an estuary where there's a river running in with a lot of trees about it, you can get further up the rivers that the other boats can't get because they're so wide, and they usually have bigger motors which pulls the back end of the boat down, whereas my duck punt is fairly flat, so you can get into some really good fishing spots. And toying with the idea of bringing it down here, and like on a day like this you could get out 100 metres or so into the deeper water and just fish out of the boat out there, see how I go. So might be worth trying. It does. It's fairly stable. I've took it out to one of the local lakes. It's only got a 9 horsepower motor on it, but I got it up to 35 kilometres an hour across the lake, which is probably a bit too fast for it. The front really lifted, being a flat-ended punt. I was amazed I got that speed out of it, but I don't normally travel around at that speed because if you had another person in there, the bow tends to dig in and put a spray over the nose of it. But being out on the lake, it made me realise the wind came up while I was out there, and I was able to handle some pretty big waves, but you had to be careful how you approach them. Like you don't hit them head on. You want to sort of be going across them a little bit, not to the point where it'll roll you over, but when you hit flat on because of the flat bottom, front bow, it hits the waves pretty hard. So, but on a day like this out here, it would be absolutely perfect. I've been working on the assumption I'll get this up and running, and I'm going to put a GoPro mount on it. I might do even a camera mount on it and use it to do some lives from on the water rather than on the banks. Especially a bit of freshwater inland stuff, give that a bit of a try as well. So see what happens. It's not far from being ready actually. I think the only problem I've got at the moment is a tail light for me trailer. It looks like something just jumped out of the water in front of me here. Probably a tailor. That pink on the water is magic at the moment. It's just unbelievable. It started off as just a pink line way off in the distance, and it's gradually creeping towards me across the water. It's looking beautiful. It's so still, it's not even moving the rods with wave or anything like that, which sometimes you get that up and down wave movement on the rods, but it's not even doing that. Yeah, here's I don't know if you saw them in the front of me rods there. There was a mob of ducks. They're coming back around here now. They look a lot bigger in flight. They've all landed. I'll bring this around. On this dead tree in the middle there, they're all landed on the top of that. They're only little birds. When they were flying, they look like ducks, but you can see there, they're only little fidgety things. Very strange. Oh well. It is what it is. I like the idea of these reflective tapes that people have put here. I think that's a darn good idea. not even getting the little nibbles on the rod. Like if there's any little fish around, they usually just nibble, nibble, nibble. But down here late, I haven't even had those. Probably the last 4 or 5 times I've been here, I haven't seen a nibble like that on there. It's usually just a big grab and then it goes dead. And almost like if you catch a flathead, sometimes a bigger flathead will hit and then they'll just lay doggo there until you wind them in. But these ones, there's nothing. The other one that was there before, that big one I caught, he was the same. He didn't fight. He fought when he got into the shallow water, probably 10, 20 feet out from the water. But otherwise, there was nothing. I've never had that with bream like that before. In fact, last time I was down here, the other person I was with caught a bream, and she actually was winding the reel in, or the rod in, to check her bait. And when she pulled it in, she suddenly realised there was a fish on there. Didn't even do a head shake, nothing. It just laid there on the hook. And I think that was a 35 centimetre bream. Might have just been tired from chasing all the little fish around. I don't know. It'd be interesting when I get a double hook up with 2 rods at the same time. That'd be interesting. I don't think the camera on this phone that I'm using to film this is doing the colour of that water the justice that it deserves, because that pink is bright pink to the eye. I might put it on the other lens, see if that makes much difference. Oh, yeah, you can sort of see the darker pink on. That's the front-facing camera, which is a lot brighter, a lot sharper. You can get a deeper image, deeper colour. It's just incredible. All I want now is a big fish, or a fish. Come on, fishy, fishy. Oh, there's something just swam through the water there. I don't know what that was. just up along here in front of the rods there, there's a little bit of a cutout. I'll walk over there and show you. Actually, I'll take the camera. So over here, there's a little cove sort of in the sand here. And this is where a lot of people bring their boats, like canoes or tinnies, and they slide it down the bank here into this bit of water. So you can see coming back through here, it's been cut away a little bit there. I reckon it looks like someone might have even hit it with a shovel. But that's why I like this particular spot for fishing, because if you get a big fish on, you can actually beach the fish without trying to lift it with a light line on the rod. So yeah, and of course someone's had a fire here. It's not Burko, because it's Burko's ashes underneath something else. Yeah. Anyway, that's an interesting bit of ground there where that cutaway is. Could be where I put my tinny in when I come down. Just on the right hand rod there, just to the right of the reel, you'll see a little black piece sticking up out of the water. There's two there actually. They're rocks. We were here one time, and around those rocks there was whiting. They were swimming around that rock. The rocks have got barnacles and mussels on them, and a few crabs crawling over them. And yeah, the whiting were hanging around there trying to get a bait. So yeah, interesting. I'll put this back on the other. Then I can sit down and see what's happening at the same time. And you can see me ugly mug. I'm hoping I'll get a bite soon. It's getting to that time. It's 4:45, so. I'd like to get my sister Robin to come down here with me just to do a bit of fishing and get her out of the city for a while and give her a bit of a break, but have to arrange it. Get her to come up and stay with me for a week or so. Maybe I'll put one of these rods in and check the bait. This one I want to put a heavier sinker on before it gets dark. Oh, you feel it rolling along the bottom. Seems funny to me that it always seems when I want to tie a line or do a modification to a rig, I seem to get a bite, which is all right. But oh God, I'm getting fat fingers. Okay. Ah. I might cut up a filtered, sorry, blue bait. Try a bit of blue bait and see what happens. Nearly pulled you guys over. Nothing wrong with me. Okay, let's see how we go. That's better. A bit further out. One thing that annoys me a little bit at this time of the year, about now you start getting dew comes out, all your gear gets wet as hell. You have to wipe it down before you put it away. But that's alright, it's all part of fishing, but it'd be nice if you didn't have to. Maybe just check the bait on this one. feel good. No bait on it, so I'll stick with the prawn on this one and blue bait on the other one. See what eventuates. All right, ready for action. I thought we'd see a bit of a moon up somewhere. That little rod's a good rod. Good casting. Nice and light. Don't think I've caught a fish on that new rod yet. Be nice to do so. I bought some floodlights. They're only cheap at Aldi's. They're probably more used for working in the shed under a car or something. I thought I'd bring them down and try them out if it gets dark enough tonight. Just see how they work for fishing down here. They've got a rechargeable battery that you charge off a USB-C cable, so I thought I'd give it a try and just see. It might be enough to just light up the area where we're fishing, make it a bit easier to see, mainly for you guys when we're filming. It's just an experiment for $29. Who cares? I can use it in my shed anytime. I think I'll be alright actually. We'll see what happens when it gets later. Just stand up a little bit and stretch my legs. Getting a bit cool in the legs. The funny transition of colours, where that pink was right away across to that dark line at about 3/4 away, halfway up, it's now going that bluey grey colour and the pink's coming closer to the bank. It's just such a funny transition of colour. It's still no wind. It's surprisingly warm actually. Got a bit of an idea for a rig I want to set up, and I'm going to try and set it up. Well, I'm waiting for something to happen. Sorry guys, I'm just tying a bit of a rig here while I'm waiting for things to happen. Still nothing happening, is there? Almost lost all that pink off the water now, and it's just that bluey grey that's coming in. It'll get pretty dark fairly quick now. 5:15. I would have been thinking we'd be getting bites, but not necessarily. I must say, what you see on the camera or on the film, you can see the rod's a lot easier than I can. It's a lot darker here, but the cameras must be compensating for the darkness. Give it another quarter of an hour, it'll be pretty dark here. You probably won't see them, so I'll flick on this floodlight that I bought and see what it comes up like. Haven't been any bites though. Something just jumped out of the water to my left. Something pretty big. Don't know what it was, but sure jumped. There's a lot of scales on the ground here, look like carp scales, so it may have been a carp, although I haven't seen carp here for a while. There's another fish just jumped out the water to the right of my rods too. So there's something out there. Just need to come into where I'm fishing. Come on, one more fish and that'll do me, I reckon. There's a little light way up in the sky, just to the right of the left rod. I don't know if it's a satellite or a plane. It's only one light. As long as there's not aliens coming to get me, I don't care. It's gone now, whatever it was. Probably a satellite. Such a clear night, there's like out over this way, behind these trees, you can see there's some clouds in the sky there. But out this way, the sky is just crystal clear, which makes me think it's going to be a frosty morning, but it'll be a nice day tomorrow. I don't think I've got anything major I've got to do tomorrow, so it could be a good day to go for a fish if it's not too windy, although they're predicting the winds to come up, so we'll have to see. So I've turned on that floodlight that I had. You can see it over there. It's got 3 lights on it. It has lit up the bank a bit more, and as you can see there, it's helping me see the end of the rod. I can see my rods quite clearly, so you may be able to, oh, probably not, oh yeah, no, on the branches of that tree there's a reflective tape, and you can, it's bringing them up quite clearly, so yeah. So on the camera, the water almost looks purple, but in real life, it's just grey. But it makes it an attractive looking scene. So in the distance, you'll see a red flashing light. That's one of the channel markers leading into the boat harbour, I think. They're all the way along that channel there, leading into the McClellan Strait, and more so that way about where my drink bottle, you can see in the distance a white light. That's the boat harbour at Hollands Landing. Not sorry, at Loch Sport. It's quite a nice evening here. I don't at this stage feel like I need a fire, but it's 5:26. I'll give it to 6 o'clock and then I'll call it quits. You have those days. Sometimes you get a day where you get a run. My mate Burko did the other night on the jetty where under the light where he was fishing. He had a good run. Other nights you sit there and get nothing. I don't think I've had a bite since I caught that big one early on when I first started. Feeling a bit dry. I'm thinking of trying a drop a line rig which has the sinker on the bottom and then maybe a 12 inches 300 mil up from there. It has a swivel with a line on it hanging out with a hook on it, not a very long way off the main line. And when you keep your line tight, it keeps the hook off the bottom. Sometimes there's a bit of weed, and when you're casting, especially with running sinker, your bait gets into the weed and it's a bit hard to see. Whereas if you can have your sinker in the bottom and the hook up the line a bit further, a little bit like a pot and oyster rig with only one hook on it instead of two. I think that could be something to try. It may work, it may not, but it's all experimenting. In different areas use different systems because of the way the bottom is. So something I'll give a try. I've just made up the rig basically. I won't do it today, but I basically made up the rig. I've just got to put the hook line on it, and I've put a snap swivel on the bottom so you can use a like the bell type sinker with a swivel in it. You can put a couple of different sizes on there if you want to swap them if the current's bad or you need a heavier one. Oop, that was a bite. on, come back. Yep, he's back. At least it was a bite. Better than a kick in the backside. I don't know if I've got a fish on there or not. Bring it in and check the bait or something. Strange. Alright, I'll cast this one out and probably make that the last cast for today. I've got a bit of a drive to get home and there'll be kangaroos everywhere going home, so just see what happens. Just check this bait. Oh, I forgot about that. Oh, it's been chewed. Right, put this one back out and we'll just wait and see. Wasn't a very good cast, but it'll do. I'm rather pleased with those floodlights that I bought. They're lighting up the area fairly well for me. Better than I thought they would, actually. Yeah, they're quite good. Another fish just jumped out of the water. Just jump onto me hook, not out of the water. Well, Alright guys, I think I'll call it quits now. Thank you for watching. If you were patient enough to stay here that long. I know it's been a long video and probably not a lot happening, but that's fishing. Sometimes it's all action and sometimes there's nothing at all. So anyway, like I said, hope you enjoyed it. It was probably interesting seeing the few different colour changes in the water from the sunset and so forth, but other than that there wasn't a real lot happening, so I can't do much about that, unfortunately. Being here by myself, I couldn't pick the shit out of my mates, but anyway, I'll call it quits. Hope you liked it. Please like and subscribe, and if you haven't, and yeah, I'll catch you on another video sometime. Okay, thanks guys. Bye for now.